What is up, guys? It's the John Gaz. I'm coming at you today with a very special cartoon conspiracy theory. The theory that I'm doing for you guys today is without a doubt one of my favorite theories I've ever done, and that's not even exaggerating because it is about one of the best trilogies ever made. Toy Story. Now, believe it or not, Toy Story actually has a pretty good amount of theories out there for it, but this one I find to be one of the most interesting for sure and one of the most realistic. This theory actually only came out a couple of days ago, so it is brand spanking new, and you guys both deserve and need to hear it because it is absolutely awesome. This theory is by a man named John Negroni, and if you guys don't recognize that name, he's the same guy who came out with the very awesome Pixar theory, which my good friend Kmack did over on his channel, which I will link you to down below. If you want, you can go and check that out, but not before you finish this video. Without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this theory. The theory is that Jessie, the cowgirl that was introduced in Toy Story 2's original owner, is Andy's mom. I know what you're thinking. That's pretty goddamn awesome. Now, throughout the Toy Story series, Andy's mom has always been a little bit of a mystery, which is fine because the whole focus was on Andy and his love for his toys. In the first movie, I don't even think we got to see his mom's face, but in Toy Story 3, not only did we get to see her face, she actually had a pretty big role in the plot of the movie. But before we get to Toy Story 3, we gotta go all the way back to Toy Story 1. Unfortunately, because of copyright, I can't include pictures from the movie in this theory. However, like I said before, the article about the theory does have the pictures to go along with it, so if you'd like, you can click on the link down below and open it up and follow along as I talk about it. Now, you may remember, if you're a fan of the series, that in Toy Story 1, and it's actually shown again in Toy Story 3, I think, that when Andy would play with his toys, he was always wearing a cowboy hat. Now, the cowboy hat he was wearing didn't look like Woody's. Actually, it didn't look anything like Woody's. It was red and had red lace going around it. Now, can you think of any other cowboy or cowgirl action figure who has a hat similar to that? That's a rhetorical question. It's Jessie. Now, you may remember in Toy Story 2, Andy left for summer camp, and his mom had a yard sale while he was gone selling some of his toys. Well, Woody ended up in one of the boxes while trying to save one of the other toys, Wheezy, and he was stolen by the chicken man, Al, from Al's Toy Barn. He originally tries to buy Woody, but Miss Davis, Andy's mom, says no because she says that Woody is an old family toy. Now, according to Mr. Potato Head, Andy had Woody since he was in kindergarten. In the first movie, Andy turned 6, which means in Toy Story 2, Andy was 7 or 8 years old. If you go further into it, Woody has no recollection of who he is. Many people who've thought about that have suggested that that's because he was owned by Andy's father. But Andy's father is never mentioned in the movies. Molly is a baby in the first movie, so that means that Andy's father either died or walked out not long before the movie started. It wouldn't be that far of a leap to assume that Andy's mother gave Andy his father's old toy when he turned 5 years old, because Andy would think that would be the coolest thing when he was 5, especially if it was just after a year that maybe his father passed away. It says here that if Woody had been a new toy when Miss Davis gave him to Andy, that he probably would have known exactly who he is, just like Buzz Lightyear knew exactly who he was when he was given to Andy. Now, if we go back to the hat, many people believe that Andy's mother is the one who gave him that old cowboy hat, or cowgirl hat technically. Like I said before, the hat looks very similar to Jessie's hat. If you guys remember in Toy Story 2 when Jessie is singing a song about her old owner, it shows a little bit of a montage of her past owner playing with her, and in that montage we see that her owner is wearing the cowgirl hat just like Andy's wearing when he's playing with Woody. And during the montage, judging by the decorations and the setting, you can assume that it takes place in the 60s or 70s. Now, if the montage did in fact take place during the 60s or 70s, that means that during the Toy Story series where it picks up, Emily would be about the same age as Andy's mom. Not only that, but Andy and Emily both have the same cowboy hat. You can also see that the hat Andy wears when he plays with Woody looks exactly the same as the one that Emily wears when she plays with Jessie. The only difference is that Andy's hat, though it has the white lace on the outer brim part, doesn't have the white lace on the inside. But you can actually tell if you look at a picture of it exactly where the white lace would have been on the inside. But when Andy's wearing it, the lace isn't there and the hat color is a little bit more faded. Now that makes it look like a pretty old hat. Now we can also see in that montage that Emily donated all of her cowgirl stuff. I don't know if it was whether to a charity or to an orphanage or to a daycare, much like when she donated Andy's toys, but all of the cowgirl stuff got donated except for the hat. You can also see that during the montage, Emily's hairstyle looks very, very similar to Andy's mom's hairstyle, only the color is just a little bit darker, which makes sense because she's younger, and in the third movie, his mom's getting a little bit older, and maybe her hair's fading. Now you may be wondering, John, both me and the author of the theory, John, why wouldn't Andy's mom noticed that he suddenly had a toy that she had and she cherished when she was a little girl? Now, the author of the theory says to think of it this way. How would you react if you saw that your kid had a toy that looked like the one you had? You probably wouldn't assume that they're the same, even if you're in a Pixar movie. Now I'm going to read this straight off the article so I don't mess it up, so I can get it verbatim and you guys can't yell at me for being stupid and ruining the theory. The theory is that in a twist of fate, Emily, Andy's mom, loved a cowboy toy, but gave it away during her adolescence. Her son would grow to love a cowboy toy as well, in a weird way that resembles the strong love she once had. She passed the hat down to him, and as destiny would have it, Andy would one day receive Jessie as well. This would redeem his mother's abandoning of her, making Emily's story come full circle. Now if you're wondering why Jessie wouldn't recognize Emily when she saw her 30 years later, it's because it's 30 years later. People age between their adolescence and when they turn 40 or 50 years old. So that is the theory, you guys. I really hope you all liked it. Like I said before, this is definitely in my top 3 favorites of all time. I'm very excited to have brought it to you guys today. I'm going to say this really quickly because I'm in kind of a rush. Make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be uploading another video on Friday. It's going to be an episode of Ask the Johngasm. Make sure you tune in and watch it. I love you all. Thank you again for watching, and stay fresh.